Perkins, 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 Perkins and Perkins. How may I direct your call?
What are the options?
Perkins, 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 Perkins and Perkins. How may I direct your call?
What are the options?
Perkins, 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 Perkins and Perkins. How may I direct your call?
What are the options?
This is the sound of reality cracking. When you hear this sound, you and your family must take shelter immediately. Please do not be alarmed. And whatever you do, when reality cracks, do not touch the egg. You have been warned.
Welcome to Cat Noir, Rouge Chien, or The Egg on the Hill. This week's episode no longer exists.
We've all heard the story of the day reality cracked and the skies opened, forcing an egg out of an impossible pinhead-sized hole. My mother used to recount it during a particularly dull Sunday lunch. Men spoke in hushed tones about it in public toilets. Dog walkers stopped each other, and rather than remarking on how cute each other's dogs were, they would discuss and analyse the tale. But how did the egg get there? Why an egg? What was inside? These questions would go round and round in circles, debated by many but unanswered by all, until one day, Sharon Kent, the fountain of all knowledge in the small seaside town of Hemsby, spoke out loudly and clearly. What had laid the egg? This question was remarkable. No one had ever thought of this question. Maybe whatever had laid the egg was waiting on the other side of reality, hoping to see its kin again. Or maybe the egg was unique. Maybe the egg was waiting to hatch the very creature which would lay an egg. Maybe this was the first of its kind. Maybe it was a dragon. Maybe not. The egg stood at 5'7", but its weight was unfathomable. Many had tried to move the egg since its arrival, pushing, prodding, poking the shell, using machines to attempt to lift it, but none could manage to move the egg even 1 millimetre. Sounds a funny thing. The egg made no sound when falling from the impossibly sized hole to lay upon the top of the hill. It continued to make no sound for 10 years. And then there was a crack, not a loud one, a whimper of a crack. A shell and membrane shifted gently, splitting the hard skin casing into two separate directions. 2 boys were playing on the hill that day, flying a kite. They heard it. The first boy, a rotund, chubby, cherub-faced 10-year-old, could hear every sibilance of that sound. He could hear in vibrant colours, reds, purples, pinks, yellows, an ever-changing texture of resonating vocalisation burrowing into his mind. As waves and ripples of noise drummed a tattoo through his ear canals, he stopped to wonder at the magnificence of life. The other boy heard a small, insignificant crack, carried on playing, and eventually stubbed his toe on a tree root and cried for 16 minutes. The egg's now been on the hill a further 10 years, one small solitary crack across its smooth elliptical carapace. How do I know all of this? There was a first-hand witness. In fact, there were 2, the 2 boys. This is the story then, not of an egg on a hill, but of a boy who could hear sound like no other. This is the story of Gary, the trainee sound engineer.
So, Kev, you were just telling me about ancient Egypt.
Was I? I thought we just got here.
Yeah, okay. It was just a segue introduction into whatever nonsense this is going to become. It would just seem to the listener that we've been sitting here talking for a few hours already.
But we haven't.
No, it's cool, I get that.
This is literally the first time we've spoken today.
Fine, we'll skip the segue. But, Kev, you've just passed up a golden opportunity to tell me something interesting about ancient Egypt.
Why ancient Egypt? Why would that very specific subject be the focus of your segue introduction? Suppose I know nothing about ancient Egypt.
That was weird. Look, I didn't expect there to be so much focus on the introduction part. I thought I'd throw something in, you'd say something back, we'd get some banter going and, we'd all move forward. But somehow the whole thing's backfired and instead we're focusing way too closely on the length of the conversation we've had and the justification for a throwaway segue.
And does that make you feel awkward?
Well, a little.
Do you mean you feel a bit tense?
Well, I am now. Wait a minute. Are you hearing all this too?
Hearing what, Matt? Are you worried that you're going a bit...
I don't know about that far, Kev, but maybe a little. I'm going to let that slide. But not that. What's going on?
Oh, you mean with this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Gary.
Oh, lovely. Hang on. Gary?
Yeah, Gary. He's our sound effects guy from the YTS. He's been with us since episode 1. Like months now. How did you forget him?
I'm a busy man, Kev.
Well, he doesn't talk much, admittedly. Say hi, Gary.
He's bold, isn't he? All right, Gary, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? Uh-huh. So why did you move here? Oh, that poor woman.
How exactly are you understanding him?
I speak Turkish.
I'm not sure that's how that works.
Yeah, I probably meant Goblish. Shall we try him out, though? Gary, I mean. Put him through his paces. Check his chutzpah.
Gary, we need an old, slow, winding river effect, please, as we search for... angry ducks. Whoa! Too much, Gary.
Yeah, this is the countryside, man. Think calm summer's day with a gentle stream.
Much better.
Yeah, I quite like this. But where are the ducks?
Look closer. You know ducks are masters of the skies.
Where am I looking?
At those rocks.
Hang on. They're not rocks. They're ducks. Angry ones.
That's right! It's time for... Duck Rock!
Welcome to Duck Rock. We introduce our first contestant, Kev. So, who are you and where do you come from?
Well, I'm Kev and I'm standing next to you.
Excellent. And are you ready to bare-knuckle box a duck?
I'll give it a go.
Blindfolded, on one leg.
Less enthusiastic if I'm honest.
It's all for a Twizzlers chocolate bar.
What flavour?
Mallard.
Mallard. Well, go on then.
Well, that was over quick, Kev. And a rather humiliating defeat.
I'll live. Gary's doing all right, isn't he? But I think it's time to really push him.
What, you mean chucking some curveballs?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. I think one of the ducks is having a flashback from Nam.
Yeah, I think the dead are rising from their graves.
And I think they brought werewolves.
And the police are now arriving.
But this is all too bonkers for them. They're off. And we probably need to wrap this whole thing up with a single sound effect because there's only one channel left on the mixer.
I think we broke Gary.
I don't know. I'd have gone with a lovely harp sound. Made it all a dream. Mind you, it was a gripping episode of Duck Ruck, though.
Yeah, very dramatic. Oh, maybe we should have stuck with the herons.
We're not going there again, Kev. They won't be suddenly appearing on the podcast anytime soon. I think on the whole, though, Gary has the chops, but I'm still bothered how you got him on a long-defunct training scheme.
I know, it wasn't easy. I had to go back to 1986 to get the correct paperwork.
What, the real 1986?
Yes, and I met Duran Duran.
No way! Were you in Rio?
No, Planet Earth.
Wait a minute. I've just turned over the script to read the next page, and all it says is, Kevin Matt Spoon?
Well, I wrote this episode. That's odd.
Yeah, well, you know, it's something I've always wanted to do.
Well, I have to be honest, me too. I'm so glad we're finally going there.
Yeah, and live on the podcast too. Should we do it?
Matt, I'm not really sure that's what it meant. Matt, should we try the other way? Matt, where are you? Matt!
Good afternoon, I'm Biscuit Crunch. We have breaking news. The egg on the top of the hill has cracked once more. Insert Num here is at the scene.
Thanks, Biscuit. I'm here at the bottom of the hill, where above me, the egg, which suddenly appeared 20 years ago, has, for the second time, cracked. With me is Professor Howdy Do It, a specialist in bird eggs. Professor, it's looking likely this egg may be hatching. How is this possible?
Well, this may or may not be a bird's egg. As you know, no one saw the egg being laid, and usually an egg would need to be incubated before it hatches. This egg has laid dormant for 2 decades. The longest uninterrupted egg brooding for a bird is 2 months by emperor penguins. As this egg is 14 times larger than a penguin's, I would say that it is unlikely that this is a bird's egg, and it is more likely this egg was laid by a dragon.
But dragons are mythical. Surely a much more likely explanation would be that a humpback whale climbed out of the ocean, grew legs, walked up the hill and deposited its egg.
Well, yes, that does sound more likely, but whales don't lay eggs.
A dog?
Dogs don't lay eggs either, insert. Sorry.
Thanks, Professor. You can probably also hear around me a small group of protesters have arrived. They're all holding various placards with "End of the World" written on them. One of the protesters is here with me now.
Hello, Mum. I'm on TV.
A great insight
Hello,
there.
everyone. It's me, your old pal Warren. I'm on TV.
A great insight there to what's happening here. Wait, something's happening to the egg. It's cracking again.
Well, me. That's something you don't see every day.
Morning, Matt.
Morning, Kev.
What have you got planned for today?
I'm going to have a nap.
You just got up.
Yep, and that signifies it's time for a nap.
Ooh, a news flash. Turn it up.
Good afternoon, I'm Biscuit Crunch. This is breaking news. It's been 1 month now since the egg on the hill has cracked and a large red dog hatched and run off. As promised, we are keeping you up to date with the situation. Insert Num here is still at the scene.
Thanks, Biscuit. I'm still here on the hill, bringing you a pointless hourly update on a situation that ended a month ago. We need to scrutinise every second of this event from as many different angles as possible until something else happens. They say no news is good news, so we have good news.
But nothing's happening. Why are they still reporting on this?
Quiet news day.
It's like nothing else is going on in the world.
What about that golden age Hollywood actor who died?
He was 110.
Yeah, gone too soon. Don't turn it off.
Yeah, but my favourite podcast is on now. I'll just catch the end.
Isn't it an on-demand product? You could just listen from the beginning.
I always listen to the end first.
Why?
I hate surprises, Kev.
What's the podcast called?
It's a comedy podcast called Rouge Chien.
Which is French for...
Purple monkey.
Can you actually speak French?
No, not really.
It means red dog.
Oh, is that why there's a picture of a red dog on the website?
Yeah, probably. It's not going to cut itself down, mate, is it?
It's just, this is a recording studio and I'm currently trying to record.
Well, you know what? You should have thought about that before you planted trees in it.
It's just, I just need a few seconds to get this take down. Would that be all right with you?
Yeah, look, I got a contract to get on with, mate, but, I'm not an evil man.
This episode was written...
I'll give you 30 seconds.
30 seconds?
30 seconds
to do
and
this
I'm turning
entire
that
take.
leaf blower on. Didn't we do this sketch a few weeks back?
Yeah, but we had a chainsaw. In this one, the gardener has a leaf blower.
Why is that?
They probably have a big budget.
Quite professional.
You can go back to your blower.
Look it back to the beginning.
Welcome in the silly shatcade. Oh, I'm out of practice. That's bad. Okay.
That sounds familiar, Kev.
That's our theme.
No, it sounds different.
It's played on different instruments. The opening was even an outtake. Skip it forward.
And I met this guy who recognised just how in love with the country I fell, and he said he'd like to surprise me with a very unique souvenir to take home.
I see. And what did he do?
He grafted a didgeridoo to my face.
Diabolical.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Dale. It's beautiful. It's a lovely design with lots of ornate carvings.
What are the wheels on the end for?
Stabilisers, Dale.
We did this a few weeks back too. I don't remember there being a studio audience.
Yeah, no one usually laughs.
Twirzel's chocolate. just don't care.
Is that why they stopped sponsoring the podcast?
Well, they did send such odd freebies.
Yeah. What about those large marshmallows they sent? Hard centre and chewy on the outside. Delicious.
They were pillows.
What about that small doll's house made from crunchies?
That was a beehive. Skip it on. This is an episode I'm dedicating in your memory.
Oh, that's really kind, man. Thank you.
It's for when you die.
I remember this one
Probably
too.
just edit you out of the whole episode, to be honest. Just replace you with some noises and squeaks. Just be respectful, Matt. I'd prefer it if you didn't do that live on the podcast, but not when you're wearing those cream trousers. Have some respect for yourself. That felt very respectful. Well, that one works fine. If anything, it's been improved.
I've always wanted to be a slide whistle. Perkins.
Turn that off. That's how reality's shattered.
Perkins. I didn't know that.
Don't you listen to our podcast?
Nope. I prefer Rouge Chien. It's way funnier.
It's a rip-off, a scam, a copy. It's not even a good one either.
Yeah? What's it copying?
You really do need to listen to our podcast. Who makes this rubbish? Is there a website?
Yep. I don't often use the web, but I love the Rouge Chien page. It has Easter Island heads for the presenters.
So does ours.
Does it? I've never been on it.
You are joking.
Aha! It says BTSE Enterprises. I'll just ask Jeeves it.
Wow, you really don't use the internet much.
There's an address. Let's pay them a visit. Shall we take the Cat Noir mobile?
Ah, it's got a flat tyre.
Oh no. Puncture?
No, it's just feeling a little low.
I have to be honest, Kev. That Uber wasn't what I was expecting.
Right, this looks like the place. Oh no, Matt, they've got security. I was hoping we'd just be able to walk in.
Good evening, gents. I hope you are both well. What can I do for you on this lovely evening?
Allow me, Matt. We would like to see whoever is in charge, please. Perhaps a Mr. BTSE?
Uh-huh. If your name isn't on the list, I won't be letting you in.
And what names are on the list?
Peter Webster. But I'm not telling you any other names.
I'm Peter Webster.
And who's he? Because I hope you're not trying to trick me, because that would really upset me. Takes a lot to upset me, but this could put me over the edge.
Susan?
No,
Petra?
no. Try to think of some more masculine names.
Okay, let me think. Dougie?
Look, you're not coming in. I have the last decision on it. I have made the decision, and my decision, because it is mine to make, is that you are not coming in.
Okay, this'll be easy. You following any series on Netflix at the moment?
No, I don't really watch TV. I read.
Anything good?
Yes, I do love the Russian classics, but I've just finished Homer's Iliad in the ancient Greek.
Okay. What about music? Do you like music?
Oh, I love musique concrete. Anything with tape manipulation or montaging techniques. Sleep by Max Richter.
Art? Do you like Banksy?
Not really. I'm obsessed by Fyodor Brunei.
You got kids?
No,
A dog?
no. Hold on. You're not trying to keep me talking whilst your mate climbs up the drain pipe, are you?
Not at all. Why would you say that?
It's just I can see him climbing up the drain pipe over there.
I'm okay. That's dangerous. Look, you ought to get that scene too. Someone could get hurt. I'm going to have to find another way into Rouge Chien.
Oh, you want Rouge Chien? Why didn't you say? I've got 2 clowns to see you. Yes, just the 2.
Did you bring any coffee?
No.
I had a skinny latte, but I left it in the steamroller.
Mr. BTSE will see you now.
Podcasters, let me tell you a story. I brought a cappuccino today. It was the frothiest beverage I have ever tasted. Do you know how much that frothy, bubbly experience cost me? £4.90.
Okay, what's that got to do with us?
Nothing. I just love a good story.
Yeah, shame that wasn't a good story.
I've been waiting for you. Where is the third member of your comedy troupe?
It's just me and the person next to me.
Yep, same.
Well, that includes me and you twice.
Yeah, you tell him. We are Legion.
I mean the most important person in Cat Noir.
What, Danny Peaks?
No.
Stella?
No.
Dal Allen?
No, not him.
Kelvin the Robot?
No. He only appears in 2 sketches. The real power behind your podcast. Gary the trainee sound engineer. He is my brother.
He is your brother? Matt, can you please stop playing that pipe organ?
Sorry, I thought it added some suspense. Should I also put down the bongos?
Yeah, but keep them handy in case we need to make a quick getaway.
Will do.
What are you two on about? I am Barry the trainee sound engineer, master manipulator of all sound, owner of Rouge Chien, and part-time Heron King.
No, not the herons.
Yes, I have all the herons at my disposal. They call me Regal Heron, the Swamp King.
I wanted to be called that.
I have created the most powerful podcast in human history.
Well, from what I've heard, it's just a rip-off of our stuff.
True, I needed material and used your pathetic comedy to fill the gaps, but the sound effects between the words are amazing. The Rouge Chien gives me that power.
That's just the name of the podcast?
Oh no, it's so much more than that. The Rouge Chien is a powerful deity trapped in the body of an ageless red dog. It has the power to change all sound, altering reality, and that power is now mine.
Well, I wasn't expecting you to say that. But how?
Good question, Matt.
Thanks, Gev. I did a training course on asking the right questions at college. Really stuck with me. I think it was the tutor.
A good tutor makes all the difference.
If you two would mind letting me get a word in, I could maybe show you how I've harnessed his power.
Hey, good pun. Dog, harness. That is why your podcast is so fun.
I have done the impossible. I now control all sound.
Looks like a dog in a box to me, surrounded by herons.
The podcast was a ruse to draw you in. I knew you would have to investigate and eventually find your way here. Now, bring me my brother so that he may look upon my genius and bow down alongside the rest of humanity as I hold the world to ransom.
But how?
Another great question.
Thanks, Kev.
I intend to end all sound, literally stop all tonality, hurt harmonics, remove resonance, void voices, all noise will be gone. All that will remain will be silence. Pure, glorious, unadulterated nothing. Now, bring me Gary or I will release this tinder of herons.
It doesn't sound that bad. They'll only want to release a new dance track.
Okay, then I will release all the bad guys you have ever had on this podcast. Oral reality will be so warped, you won't even know what you sound like by the time I have finished.
Oh, don't do that. I haven't even warmed up yet this morning.
And I can't perform them without listening to the sketches all over again.
Yeah, and he can't do the Welsh ones without sounding northern.
Yeah, and your northern sounds Scottish.
Scotland is in the north.
Wait a minute. I thought you were playing Barry.
No, I'm standing in the room next to you.
Well, I should have played him then.
No, if you remember, we couldn't agree, and then I said, wouldn't it be better if he was played by someone else? And you said, yeah, what a great idea.
I'm sorry to interrupt you two clowns, but what is this insane drivel?
See, these scenes wouldn't work if you were playing him.
Sometimes we play 2 or 3 characters in a sketch each. What's so different about him?
Maybe his dialogue isn't very good.
Why are you two still talking?
That was a rubbish line, wasn't it? Hang on, I wrote that.
No, I wrote that. Since you entered my domain, you are now both trapped in the world of Rouge Chien. My podcast.
Oh, I love Rouge Chien. It's my favourite.
An hour ago you thought it meant purple monkey.
Bring me my brother, or be trapped here forever with only Rouge Chien for company.
Oh, get him. Blah, blah, Mr. Bond. Blah, blah, destroy the world.
I can see you may need persuasion. Rouge Chien?
Ow, my ears!
What are you doing?
The jangling jester becomes the object of his own desire. Behold, the purple monkey.
Matt! Matt, don't worry, we'll sort this. Why the whistle?
It's obviously what he desired. Now, bring me my brother. Let him kneel before me.
He's already here. We had a box of donuts on the way over that split. He always follows a trail of donuts. Here comes the cavalry.
Brother, there you are, at last. Just in time to witness my ascension to the heavens as the god of all sound. You cannot stop me. Ever since we were two little kids playing on the hill, you've had all the luck, the skills, the professionalism, the get up and go, the ability. But now how things have changed. Now I am the master and you are but the apprentice.
Please don't paraphrase Star Wars on the podcast. You're right, we might have a lawsuit.
I remember that tiny sound on the day up on the hill. It was Rouge Chien calling me to my destiny. A destiny where sound no longer exists. Let's dance, little brother.
I've got a parcel here for one Kate's Noir Comedy podcast.
Not even close, mate.
They left it at reception.
There was a reception?
They need you to sign for it. It's from Augustus Pennington Smile.
Ooh, let's have a look. It's the eggshell from the hill. That's odd.
Release the herons.
I think you mean release the herons!
And now I will devour all sound. Prepare for worldwide muting.
Welcome back. The main news tonight is the incredible battle for control of all sound, taking place on top of a warehouse in Ipswich. Barry, the sound engineer, has used the Rouge Chien to mute all sound. I have no idea what any of that means, but Insert Num here is on the scene. Insert, can you give us an update of the current situation?
I'm here in Ipswich, outside the warehouse of BTSE Enterprises, where the story of the egg on the hill has taken a rather odd turn. The skies have gone dark, but we can just about make out one of the podcasters from Cat Noir and a purple monkey sword fighting against two egrets on the roof. There's a tank poised to fire on a man with a rather large head, a bit like a papier-mâché potato. And yet, we can hear nothing. It's almost like the sound's off on the warehouse action. Luckily, we have an expert on hand, Professor Howdy Do It, Professor of Muted Sound at Carlisle University.
Well, it seems to me that both Cat Noir and Rouge Chien have no more budget left for this epic battle. Sound has been muted over the warehouse and is slowly spreading out towards us.
There's now a large red dog on the roof, being ridden by a purple monkey. It's scooped up the podcaster, and they're now jumping over to the next warehouse roof. They made it! And now they're reassembling the eggshell. Why would they be doing this? Luckily, we have an expert on hand, Professor Howdy Do It, Professor of Reassembled Eggshells from Cambridge University.
Well, it looks to me like they are gluing the egg back together. We know the dog came from the egg. Maybe the egg is the dog's safe space. Maybe it needs some time out, or maybe it's planning to return to wherever it came from. Yes, the egg is now back together, and I can lip read the podcaster saying, "Good dog."
Wow, you have expert eyesight, Professor.
Yes, I'm pretty much an expert in everything.
The egg's now floating in the air, and it's returned to the BTSE roof.
The trainee sound engineer is now shouting, "Here, boy," and the big red dog has jumped back onto the roof, and the egg is hovering near him. Now the sound engineers are hugging.
No, I think they're still fighting, but they're just worn out. Looks like Gary, the trainee sound engineer, is pushing his brother into the egg. Look, here come the podcasters.
Thank God, once you're away from Rouge Chien, you stop being a monkey. At least we're able to talk again.
To be fair, I was rather enjoying it.
Hello, podcasters. Love the show. Can you tell us what's happening?
Well, we had to come down because you're breaking the rules of storytelling. It's show, not tell.
We can't show anything on a podcast.
Still counts.
There's no sound either.
Still counts.
Why did everything suddenly mute?
It looks like the muting has reached us. I guess there's only time to say...
This isn't good news. I'm backing up now. It looks like we're all about to be... Sound is back! Yes, I can now hear the action on the warehouse again. The egg's sealed up with Barry inside, and now it's floating up back into the sky. The other sound engineer's riding the Rouge Chien over the warehouse roofs. He's now out of view.
I guess Gary's not coming back then.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, who's going to edit the podcast now?
Well, I guess I could have a go. Oops.
Best we leave that there. Maybe I'll do it from now on. Thank you. But you're too kind. Thank you.
It seems I'm being handed a letter.
Me too.
It seems we're on a holiday. And we leave tonight.
As an expert on holiday destinations, I have to say this one is a real mystery.
Well, Professor, pack your bikini. We're off to Bermuda.
The egg continued up into the sky. I could see it through the bay view window of Samantha's flat. I watched it until it became a speck, barely visible. Then I realised it was a piece of dirt trapped between the double glazing. I'm always watching. But on this occasion I blinked and had missed it. I went to turn on the radio, but I changed my mind. The silence felt good, cold to my aural senses. Sometimes you just need to stop, breathe and listen. There's so much to hear just out of range. I'm always listening.
Help! 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 Somebody help me! Help! I'll get you, Gary. I'll return one day, just when you least expect it. You'll never hear me coming this time. Weirdliest things are fish in here. Now, none of this was my fault. Come on, lads. Let's just all calm down. You have been listening to Cat Noir, Rouge Chien, or Egg on the Hill. This episode was written, performed, recorded and produced by Kevin Chilvers and Matt Sanders, and guest starred Alex Beck-Helling as Barry the Trainee Sound Engineer. Editing was by Gary the Trainee Sound Engineer for the final time. If you have been affected by any of the issues raised in this episode, then please seek immediate medical attention or follow us on Instagram at Cat Noir Podcast.
Can anyone hear me? We are the survivors of Flight 935. Please send help.